Hi, everybody. I hope you're able to see this. If you got the correct link, then hopefully you did. That's wonderful. Today's live stream is going to be quick. Um, One second. I feel like I have to get people on the right live stream because of this. So, 1 minute. Mhm. So I'm going to see if I can get other people in the live stream and hopefully it sends them the correct thing. Mm. So I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. No. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start because I know people are viewing this on another platform. So today's lesson is on mastering online dating tips. It's tips and strategies for your success. So this is going to be a brief presentation just because this is not a full class. Full classes are usually about an hour. So I'm going to go ahead quickly and kind of go through each slide. So we're going to talking about online dating. So first of all, obviously, as most people know, online dating is extremely popular. Currently, there's about 50 million users just in the United States. There's 70 million single people or people that classify as single. So that's pretty much most of the country. But obviously, worldwide, those are different numbers. There's a bunch of different apps, whether you're talking about Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Plenty of Fish, or it can be categorized towards different ethnicities. Also, there's ones for different religions. There are some now, I think, even for different sexual orientations. So pretty much there's a platform pretty much for whatever it is that you are looking for. Hold on 1 second because someone is trying to get in. Mm-hmm. Peter, did that link work for you? Because some people are saying it didn't work for me. Okay. All right. So I'm going to continue because I just sent out another reminder for those of you that have paid and joined. I just asked that everybody mute for right now. I'm actually going to mute everybody's mic so that way it doesn't get involved in what I'm saying. So I was talking about the differences in the different platforms and current platforms now that are out there. So I'm going to continue with that slide. So, also, online dating obviously is easy. You can do it wherever you are in the world. You can change your location, I think, in at least 3 or 4 apps currently. It also allows you, obviously, to expand your dating pool. So, if you're having trouble dating somebody or just finding a mate in the current town you're in, even the current kind of region of the country, if we talk about America, you can expand it pretty much anywhere. So, right off, first step is talking about your profile. So, I always tell clients the first thing that you need to do is have at least a minimum of 3 great pictures. The first great picture that you probably should have is a great headshot. Either get a friend to take it. I really am encouraging people to use photographers, but get an amazing headshot of you looking happy and, in clothes that represent you and your personality. And then the second shot should definitely be a full body shot. This is not just important for women, it's very important for men as well. Um, as well as there should be a third shot of you doing something that is really important to like your hobbies. So if you like to go camping, if you like to go boating, whatever it is that's a hobby that you consistently do or that represents you as a person, that should be the third picture. Do not put up pictures with your extended family members. Do not put up the picture that, you with 3 or 4 guys and we're trying to figure out which person you are. Obviously, if you're a girl, then, don't put up group photos of you and your friends, but you should definitely have those 3 photos when you're talking about profile pictures. Um, you want to make sure that the profile is really capturing the essence of you and keep it short and sweet. Um, don't give a bunch of don'ts on there. Like you don't want to put, hey, I don't like these type of women, or I'm not looking for a gold digger. Like stay away from what you don't want. And instead, I always tell people to put what you do want. So moving forward. So, when we were talking about actually talking to people on dating apps and things that you should really focus on, you want to have kind of, I call it just a cute, friendly greeting. Um, Something that is classified more as you, other than just, hi, how are you? You can make it personalized to, let's say, like right now I'm in Florida, it's really hot, hey, how are you dealing with the hot weather? Something kind of more letting them answer another question rather than just them saying, I'm great or I'm good, as everyone says when they ask them, how are you? This kind of leads into the second thing that I'm talking about. You want to talk about and having them with questions that are open-ended questions. This is your time to ask them questions about themselves and for you to see if that's a match for what your life is. So if they do not like the same things that you don't like, and you guys really don't share anything in common, it might be kind of hard to go out on a full date. So you should be able to write these questions kind of down. I always tell people kind of use like a template, especially when you're talking to people online. You can kind of say similar things in the very beginning because you want to get to know them and get off the app and in person. You definitely want to maintain those active listening skills, be in the moment. A lot of times people are messaging on apps and then not messaging again for 12 hours or 2 days later. So it's really important to, have that conversation. If you're going to get busy, you're working, whatever you're doing, let them know that and say, like, hey, I would love to talk to you again. Or would you like to meet in person? Or take it to, actually doing like FaceTime or Zoom or some kind of virtual setting. But try to get most information out in the first, I would say, maybe first day, and then move into actually like a virtual conversation. I'm not going to go through, obviously, the maintaining a positive attitude because you guys already know how to do that. Obviously, Tinder is one of my favorites. I know Tinder gets kind of slack for being a hookup app. Uh, Fun fact, most of the apps are under the match group, about 110 50 or so apps are under that. So Tinder was kind of the first one, and then everything else kind of lumped into that. The only one that is not under that is Bumble. Bumble actually was created by a woman that was used to work at Tinder. So a lot of the back ends of that particular app are very similar to Tinder because she kind of took a lot of that information to her next company. So I really do like the Tinder just because of the fact of the user. It's pretty user friendly. It is one of the biggest apps out there. So let me continue on. Okay, so now we can go into more about just your profile. I feel like most people have issues with profiles. If you have a question, I'm not sure if your chats are working, but you can make a comment or um, you can actually click private chat if you want to ask me a private question. But if you are okay with leaving a comment, it should be on the right side of your screen. You can do that at any point in time. So back to this. So I want you guys to really focus on building confidence, especially online. Sometimes it's awkward, especially when you're talking to a new person. But the beauty of online is you can create confidence, and have that kind of as a representation of yourself. So you don't want to exaggerate. I think that's the biggest thing. You want to stick with if whatever height you are. If you're a little chubby, like say that. Don't create these images, whether it's written or using fake photos, and then be disappointed because that person is looking for somebody else. So you really want to make sure that you're actually creating your kind of authentic self, and who you really are on that profile. Another thing I want you guys to do is also focus on the way that you dress. Like I said, finding that sense of style that makes you feel good and makes you feel confident is really important, not just online, but obviously when you get off of the apps and start dating in person. I want you to also really focus on the conversations that you're going to have, and kind of write a template of what you're going to say. That may sound kind of weird, but in business, we talk about pitching and how you have to have that elevator pitch ready at any moment in time because you don't know who you're going to meet, who might be interested in your product. So we should have I call it a relationship pitch because you're essentially pitching yourself. So if I met you within, 60 seconds, you should be able to tell me who you are, what kind of person you are, what you're looking for, what's your like relationship goals. Is it to get married? Is it to have a long-term relationship? Is it to see where it goes? You should kind of have that ready to go, because it's a lot easier to get into more questions about those things when you already have that kind of ready. Okay, I'm going to continue. My phone is vibrating right now. Someone else, I think, is trying to get in. All right. So I want you guys to kind of focus on things that will help you get from kind of that first date to having a great, successful date, and then hopefully finding somebody after that date. So I want you to really focus on an activity that you enjoy. So it could be, I had someone that went on a date and it was mini golf and they loved it and they were really comfortable because they were a golfer. So they were taking women on golfing, mini golf kind of dates, which I thought were cute. So I want you to focus on an activity that you like, or maybe you just really like music and you're going to take someone to, a particular bar or venue that has music, or maybe you're really into coffee. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be around alcohol, but it should be around a place and an activity that you really like. And that can be used as a talking point. So, kind of that joke that we hear about women don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory and all these other kind of, I call it basic places. It's not because they want hopefully something really high end, but I think most women, if we're talking about men and women want something that's an experience that also showcases something that you like, that hopefully they like too, and gives them a talking point and ways to get to know you. So, as a gentleman, your job is to really figure out what that first date should look like in terms of location and what you're going to do. Obviously, you guys should be dressing amazing and comfortable and whatever it is that you like to do. Have a great attitude. Attitude really is probably 100% of how the date's going to go. If you're not in a great place, cancel the date and wait until you're feeling much better about yourself, because you don't want to put out kind of that negative energy. You're only going to get negative energy back. Also, you should be hopefully be able to have the conversation flowy. It doesn't mean there has to be conversation the whole time, but it should be where you're able to talk about things that are important to you, and it also gives them a chance to talk about things that are important to them. So it's okay if you're not talking the whole time. It's okay to have that balance of kind of conversation and silence, but it shouldn't be you completely talking about yourself or they're completely talking about themselves, or complete silence, which is pretty bad. Um, Obviously, I don't have to tell you guys about physical boundaries. I talk a lot about this in like my more extensive class in terms of physical intimacy and in terms of like reading body language and cues, but that's a much bigger class. But obviously, you want to be respectful, and we're all adults, so depending on where the date goes, that's between you and the woman. But at least in the initial first date, you want to be respectful. And then ask, like, even ask, can I kiss you? Because there's nothing wrong with asking for consent. You just want to make sure that you're being respectful. And if you're having a great time and it's a great date, you definitely want to make that known. Like, a lot of times people are confused on, I thought it was a good date, but no one said anything. If it's going well and it's getting kind of close to the end of the night, definitely start to plan the next date. Ask the person, like, do you want to go on another date? And see what happens after that. And then if they're, I always say people are excited for pizza. If they're not excited about going out with you the second time, they're going to let you know that fairly soon. So it's better to just ask them that, as the first date is kind of winding down, or at least plan it, even a few hours or the next day. Say, hey, I had a great time. Would love to see you again. Would you like to see me soon? How about this as a second date? And if they're like, sure, then you know you had a great first date. Okay. So now that I kind of went through some of the things for obviously profiles and hopefully how to have a great first date, I want to talk about some things that I hear a lot of the time, especially with online dating, which are making sure that this person is real. A lot of people are like, is this person legit? Am I talking to a bot? Am I talking, if I'm a guy, to another guy? Is this woman a real woman and not a hooker, etc.? So you want to make sure that this person is real. I always ask them, certain questions like, what do you do? Where do you live? Where are you from? How many kids do you have? How many times, have you been married? Have you ever been engaged? Have you ever lived with someone? So asking them kind of those basic questions very quickly off the bat. If they kind of don't give answers that make sense, then that's a red flag. Seeing photos, in my opinion, that look almost like stock photos, that's a red flag. Another way to verify that, if you're having a great conversation with someone, it's always easy to just say, if you have an iPhone, like, let's FaceTime. If you don't have an iPhone, Skype, Zoom, Facebook, however you want to do that, in terms of virtual LAN. But anything that you can at least see the person, or even say like, hey, can I call you quickly? That's a great way to just see if this person is legit. A lot of the apps now obviously have like virtual cameras in them. They have an ability to talk to someone. But just getting kind of that logistics stuff. And if it doesn't match the images that you see, then something is wrong with that. You also, I think one of the biggest things out of these pitfalls is really talking about your realistic expectations. I always say that men and women sometimes have these unrealistic expectations. So with women, they are looking, for someone to be nice to them and be kind, just as men are. But a lot of times we start fantasizing and thinking that this is that person right off the bat without really getting to know them. Um, and that can be really dangerous, putting too much pressure on someone that you just met and expecting this to lead to marriage. That may not happen. Most majority of the time it doesn't. Um, but also having the expectation that you're going to find, this glamazon of a woman, um, and you may not be a perfect fit for that type of woman. So being realistic to what type of woman you can get is also very crucial in terms of online dating. And that way you don't get catfish. We all love a beautiful woman, just like women love gorgeous men. Um, that's not saying that you won't get an attractive woman, but just being realistic. Um, I used to say to a lot of female clients that, if you never caught the attention of a millionaire or a multimillionaire, then how can you consistently go from, kind of the average Joe to that particular guy? It's going to be really hard because you're not going to know what to look for and kind of fit in that kind of world. So if you're used to dating or have dated, a certain type of woman, it's going to be easier. If that particular type of woman suddenly appears and things start not making sense, then I would kind of question the validity of that person. But just be realistic in who you think your match is going to look like and who it's going to be as a person, and being really realistic on what your needs are. If your needs are to find a companion, then take it slow. There's no rush in that. But definitely those red flags would be, like I said, if some of the images look kind of like a stock photo, you can kind of even ask someone like, hey, just send me an image right now, in your house. And if it doesn't kind of match what they're talking about, then, something's up. Okay. So I hope some of this was helpful tonight. I know that it wasn't an extreme amount of information, as tonight was really just kind of a shorter class to discuss this issue. It actually gives me a little bit of time to talk to you guys if anybody has a question. Like I said, yes, Tommy said nothing like the filters these days. So I really hate filters. Even as a woman, I know I don't look like a filter. There are now filters on video cameras as well. Like you can put it over your Instagram videos and your TikTok videos. Uh, Plastic surgery actually has a big increase in filters. And a lot of people ended up actually getting plastic surgery because of filters, which is crazy. Okay, so Tommy asked, can you talk about speed dating? Okay, what do you want to know about speed dating? Let's see what you're saying. I think I lost Tommy. That's okay. All right, so that is the end of today's class. I hope that this was beneficial. I always like to leave on a positive note, and I always like to leave with an actual quote because that's just how I do my classes. And this one is about resilience, as a lot of people I know are facing rejection over and over again. Oh, here he comes back. I will wait. Hopefully, you can get back in. I don't know. Pete, should we wait? Why not? There's actually two more people that were supposed to be in, but that's okay. Yes, Tommy, I can talk about the speed dating. Fun fact, I just added there's in-person speed dating and then there's online speed dating. I just added a few online speed dating events. I actually had people purchase the online speed dating today, which I'm really excited about. But it pretty much is kind of the same no matter which city you're in. Currently, it's in San Antonio, Tampa, Sarasota, Palm Harbor, Columbus, New Jersey, and I think there might be another city that I'm forgetting, Nashville. So speed dating, I think, is very helpful, especially for people who are not used to getting a bunch of dates. Most of the clients that I have, like instruct them that they have to get at least 3 dates a week, or at least try to go on 3 dates a week. So speed dating is pretty much like having a fast track of having a bunch of dates in one night. So it does give you, I feel like, a lot of practice in getting to know someone. It also gives you practice in just flirting. Um, it's usually low key. There's not a lot of like, you don't have to dress super up, but I would tell people to dress like how you would dress on a first date. Um, Usually about 5 to 10 minutes per person. Really depends on how many people are there. And as far as I know, some people have uh, gone out on full relation and had full relationships um, from speed dating. I don't think that many people have gotten married from speed dating. I don't know, it's been a few years, maybe 2 or 3 at the most. But I know for a fact that there have been a big amount of people who have gone on to have um, relationships. So if that helps. Oh, he's trying again. Okay. Tommy, I don't know how much of that you heard. I can repeat it in terms of the speed dating. You got it. Okay, perfect. All right. So if you have any other questions for me, I'm going to actually put my information down. Okay, so that's my email. If you have any questions, just email me. I do one-on-one sessions, no pressure, for a small amount, and it gives me kind of more of a personalized way to talk to you. Obviously, these are just more group settings and just little tidbits, but I do one-on-one coaching. I always start off with a 30-minute session rather than, putting somebody in a huge program, because that's a lot to deal with, especially when I need to see if I'm the right coach for you and, if you are ready to do the work. So if you have any other questions or want to schedule a coaching session, there's my email. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, if you have any questions, just email me, and enjoy your rest of the evening because it's almost 9:30 here. So if nobody else has any other questions, then I will end the session. Thank you, Tommy, for joining. Um, so, all right, guys, bye.